In the vast, silent expanse of the cosmos, among countless starfaring civilizations, there was one simple, unwritten rule: never, ever enrage the humans. For millennia, this wisdom was passed down. A cautionary tale whispered in the shimmering energy fields of the Cygnian hegemony and the crystalline data nodes of the Polarian collective. They were seen as fragile, short-lived creatures from a mud ball in the Orion arm, emotional, unpredictable, and strangely resilient. But most importantly, they were considered mostly harmless, as long as you left them alone. The Glyptons, a proud, ancient race of silicon-based lifeforms, saw things differently. To them, the rule was a sign of galactic weakness, a silly superstition. They viewed humanity's rapid expansion as an infestation, an unsightly organic sprawl across their pristine, ordered corner of the galaxy. Their logic was cold and absolute. A species that lived for less than a century couldn't possibly pose a real threat. Their emotions were a flaw, a vulnerability to be exploited. And so, the Glyptons decided to make an example of them. Their target was Kepler 186f, a terraformed paradise known to its human inhabitants as New Eden. It was a world of breathtaking beauty, a testament to human ingenuity and hope. Without warning, the Glypton fleet descended. Their weapons, beams of pure disruptive energy, were designed to dismantle matter at the atomic level. They didn't just destroy, the attack was swift, silent, and utterly devastating. From the Glypton perspective, it was a perfectly executed act of pest control. They broadcasted the erasure of New Eden across all galactic channels, a stark message to anyone who dared follow humanity's path. Silence followed. The galaxy watched, horrified. For 3 standard cycles, there was no response from the human territories. The Glyptons preened in their perceived victory, their logic circuits humming with satisfaction. They had proven the old rule wrong. Humans were weak. Their emotional response, the Glyptons calculated, would be one of fear, grief, and capitulation. They were wrong. They had forgotten a crucial piece of data about the human psyche. When you take everything from them, you don't leave them with nothing. You leave them with rage. Then, the message came. It wasn't a plea for peace or a declaration of surrender. It was a single, system-wide broadcast on a frequency long thought dead, a relic of humanity's primitive radio days. It was just a sound, a rhythmic, pounding beat that grew in intensity, a human heartbeat, and then, a voice, cold and devoid of the emotion the Glyptons had expected. It said, "We see you." What happened next became the stuff of legend. Human fleets didn't just appear, they materialized. Ships that were smaller, faster, and uglier than anything the Glyptons had ever seen. They didn't use elegant energy beams. They used kinetic kill vehicles, giant slugs of metal launched at near-light speeds. They used swarms of autonomous drones that thought with a terrifying wolfpack creativity. They retrofitted old colony ships into massive, lumbering carriers. They didn't fight with strategy. They fought with ferocity. The Glyptons' logic couldn't comprehend it. Human pilots would perform suicidal maneuvers to take out a capital ship. Engineers would overload their own reactors to create makeshift bombs. They weren't fighting to win a war. They were fighting to avenge a memory. They weren't just soldiers. They were every single human, from every walk of life, united by a singular, burning purpose. The Glyptons had expected grief. They got fury. They had expected fear. They got a species that had stared into the abyss of its own extinction and decided to drag their enemies down with them. The galaxy learned a new lesson that day. The old rule wasn't about protecting humanity. It was about protecting everyone else from them. Because when a human is pushed to the edge, their capacity for compassion is matched only by their capacity for destruction. The rule wasn't just never enrage the humans. The full text, the galaxy now understood, was never enrage the humans. Because they will tear down the stars themselves just to make you pay.